Tony Khan ready to strike? Wrestling's next big move? Kofi and Woods to AEW? The New Day era ends? Major free agency shock. Have you ever seen a wrestling story so shocking that fans immediately start asking whether it's real before they even finish reading the headline? And what if the biggest free agent opportunity in wrestling wasn't a former world champion, but two men who quietly helped define an entire generation of WWE programming? Those are the questions that have wrestling fans talking right now because reports and rumors are spreading fast about Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods potentially being released and becoming available on the open market. And if that sounds unbelievable, that's because for years many fans thought these two would be WWE lifers. The idea of seeing them anywhere else felt almost impossible. Yet here we are. The wrestling world has entered one of those strange moments where nobody seems completely sure what tomorrow looks like. One headline appears, social media explodes, fans begin fantasy booking within seconds, and suddenly everyone is asking the same thing. If Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are really available, what happens next? And maybe an even bigger question, is AEW already preparing to make a move? Before we get deeper into this discussion, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If Kofi and Woods became free agents today, where would you want them to go? WWE again? AEW? Somewhere completely unexpected? I'm genuinely curious because this conversation has become one of the hottest topics in wrestling. What's fascinating about this entire situation is that it feels almost unreal. For years, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods have been staples of WWE television. They weren't just wrestlers. They became part of the furniture. They were always there. Whether you loved them, hated them, cheered them, booed them, or laughed at their ridiculous antics involving pancakes, unicorn horns, trombones, video games, cereal boxes, and enough merchandise to fill a small warehouse, they became a constant presence. Think about it. An entire generation of wrestling fans grew up watching The New Day. That isn't an exaggeration. Kids who watched them when they were in elementary school are now adults. That's how long they've been around. And somehow they managed to survive multiple eras of WWE. Different champions. Different creative teams. Different management structures. Different locker rooms. Different trends. The New Day simply kept going. In wrestling, that's incredibly rare. Most factions burn out. Most tag teams split up. Most friendships become storylines. Most storylines become betrayals. Honestly, if wrestling has taught us anything, it's that trusting your friends is usually a terrible life decision. Somehow, though, the New Day remained together through almost everything. Which is exactly why these rumors feel so massive. Because we're not talking about just another release. We're talking about two performers who helped define an era. And that brings us to AEW. Because let's be honest. The second wrestling fans hear the words free agent, they immediately start connecting dots to Tony Khan. Sometimes those dots make sense. Sometimes those dots look like they were drawn by somebody blindfolded. But in this case, the speculation is understandable. Imagine for a moment that Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods suddenly become available. How many companies would immediately be interested? Probably all of them. But AEW would instantly become the center of the conversation. Why? Because AEW has built a reputation for attracting established stars who are looking for new opportunities. Fans know that. Wrestlers know that. And Tony Khan certainly knows that. Now picture the scenario. The news breaks. Social media erupts. Fans start posting dream matches. Within minutes, people are already talking about Kofi versus Kenny Omega. Xavier Woods versus Will Ospreay. The New Day facing the Young Bucks. The New Day facing FTR. The New Day facing literally everybody. You know wrestling fans. Give them 5 minutes and they'll create enough fantasy booking to fill an entire WrestleMania season. Honestly, some of those matches sound incredible. That's what makes this story so interesting. Not just where Kofi and Woods have been, but where they could go next. Sometimes wrestling careers need a fresh chapter. Not because somebody failed. Not because somebody lost their talent. But because the audience becomes excited by the unknown. The unknown is powerful. It's the reason surprise debuts get massive reactions. It's the reason fans stay awake refreshing social media at ridiculous hours. It's the reason wrestling remains unpredictable. Nobody knows what happens next, and that's exciting. Let's talk about Kofi Kingston specifically for a moment. This is a man whose journey became one of the most emotional stories WWE has ever told. Kofi Mania wasn't supposed to happen. That's what made it special. Fans forced it into existence. The audience demanded it. Week after week, support grew. Momentum built. Eventually, WWE had no choice but to pull the trigger. When Kofi won the WWE Championship, it felt bigger than wrestling. It felt like a genuine moment. One of those moments people still talk about years later. You can't erase that legacy. No matter where Kofi goes next. No matter what company he works for. No matter what logo appears on the screen. That legacy follows him. Then there's Xavier Woods. Honestly, I don't think enough people appreciate how valuable he is. Seriously. The guy can wrestle. The guy can talk. The guy can entertain. The guy can host shows. The guy can play video games. The guy somehow has enough energy for about 7 different careers at the same time. I'm tired just thinking about it. Xavier Woods has spent years proving that charisma isn't something you learn overnight. It's something you either have or you don't. And he has it in abundance. That's why so many fans believe he'd thrive anywhere. Put him on a microphone. Put him in a faction. Put him in a singles feud. Put him behind a commentary desk. He'll find a way to make it work. That's why the possibility of him entering free agency becomes such a fascinating storyline. And yes, I said storyline. Because even when wrestling isn't following a script, fans naturally turn everything into one. We analyze. We speculate. We connect clues. We search for hidden meanings in every interview and every social media post. Sometimes we're right. Sometimes we're hilariously wrong. But that's part of the fun. Now let's discuss the AEW angle again because that's where things become really interesting. If Tony Khan truly had the opportunity to bring in Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, would he do it? Most fans would probably answer yes immediately. And it's easy to understand why. Experienced performers. Recognizable names. Strong fan support. Years of television experience. Positive locker room reputations. Those qualities don't exactly grow on trees. But another question exists. Would Kofi and Woods